What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we're doing our top 10 most anticipated albums of 2023. We're a little late. It's almost February, but to be fair, Dylan, it's been a little slow with releases so far, if you ask me this year, but it seems like it's picking up and it seems like more and more albums are getting announced every day. So, how do you feel about doing this most anticipated list?
Better late than never. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out this year, so it'll be fun to gauge both our interest in what is to come.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, guys, I've got 10, 15 albums that are either announced or heavily speculated that they're coming out. So I'm going to rattle them off and we're going to each rank our anticipation level 1 through 10. And maybe I'll play a clip of a song. I don't know yet. We're kind of just winging this. So Dylan, let's get straight into it. First band up, I know you're kind of lukewarm on them. I like them personally. We got Sum 41's double album, Heaven and Hell, which was supposed to come out last year. And I haven't heard anything about this. I assume it's going to come out this year now. But what is your anticipation 1 through 10 on the new Sum 41 record?
I didn't know this was coming out till I saw it on your release schedule. I don't know exactly where you obtained this information from. But yeah, I'm not a huge... I like All Killer No Filler and Does This Look Infected and that one EP they did. But beyond that, I'm not a huge Sum 41 fan. I haven't listened to much of any of the last few records they put out. So, I mean, I'm hesitantly... It'll be cool to check it out. I'll have to go back and listen to the last two a little more to know what I'm in for. But Brown Sound's back in the band on the last few, so it can't be horrible. I'll put this one at a 5. I'm going to be neutral on it.
All right. Well, so it's a double album and it's called Heaven and Hell. And Heaven's like metal. It's going to be like a metal side of the band for that side. And then, Heaven is the pop punk
Yeah.
Heaven is the pop punk side, and Hell is the metal side. So, and they were talking about it a lot last year, like last March, April, and then it just kind of died out, like all the hype for it and all like the discussion. So it could be shelved, but as of right now, I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out this year. And I'm like you, like I've liked Sum 41 now for 20 something years. I really like the first few albums. The last couple have been a little weird, but I still found a decent amount of songs on each one that I liked. And I have a feeling that at least on the pop punk side, they're going to try and go back, especially with Brown Sound back. So I'll put this at a 7. I'll do 7 out of 10 on the Sum 41. They're usually good for a single here and there. So 7 for me, 5 for Dylan. The next one, Dylan, you've already heard this, and you've been teasing me about how good it is. We got the Bouncing Souls, 10 Stories High. I think it's coming out in March. So I'm going to ask for your anticipation level on this, but you've already heard it. So if you want to give me your ranking of it, go for it. What do you think, Bouncing Souls?
Man, I'm excited for everyone else to hear this album. It's so good, man. I'm a big-time Bouncing Souls fan, and I think this is the best album since probably Anchors Away, honestly. I like it even more than the Gold record. It's only 10 songs, which I guess is part of the concept of the album. It's really, 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 really good, though. There's only one song I'm not completely sold on so far. It's kind of like a sappy love song. Yeah, it's a really good album. I already have my review ready to go for it, and I can't wait to share that with people and for everyone else to hear it. My favorite song on the album is True Believer Radio, which I thought was going to be like some like nostalgia bait kind of thing, kind of lowbrow, but it's anything but that. So yeah, 10 out of 10 on my anticipation.
10 out of 10. So it's the best since Anchors Away. Would you say it's like slightly below Summer Vacation and Anchors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I've only heard the singles for this. I have not heard the album in full, but like you, I'm a big Souls fan. We have a whole video on the Bouncing Souls. I'm going to put this is probably in my top 3 most anticipated of the year. So I'm gonna go 9 out of 10, especially since I've seen all the praise that you've given it. So I'm gonna go 9. Dylan's a 10. I'm a 9. I'm Bouncing Souls.
I'm excited for the tour too. I haven't seen them since
Oh,
Comet
dude,
came out.
that tour looks nuts, and the closest it's coming to me is Buffalo, which is whack. Like I don't
Yeah,
know why
they got
there's.
Sam I Am, who I'm not like a huge Sam I Am fan, and Swingin' Utters, I think, are the 2 support bands. I'm interested in seeing Swingin' Utters because Jack from Dead to Me and One Man Army's in that band though.
Yeah,
But that should be a cool tour.
Swingin' Utters is another band I want to tier list one of these days. They have some really great albums too. Let's move on to one you just told me this was coming out. I had no idea. One of my favorite bands, at least the last 2 albums have been in my top 20 releases in the last like couple decades, is Frenzel Rhomb. And you've told me that the album's done, man. So I guess this one, we don't have a name, we don't have a date, but it's coming out. So this untitled Frenzel Rhomb album, what's your anticipation level?
Can I do multiple 10s?
Yeah, you can do. There's no rules here.
All right, no rules for once on Punk Rock Radar. This is another 10 for me, man. I don't know if John's gonna. I sent John a video they posted on Instagram stories a while ago of their new bassist Dal from Local Resident Failure recording a bass track in the recording studio at the Blasting Room. Yeah, the last 2 Frenzel Rhomb albums I think are their best. Probably top 3 Frenzel would be those 2 and Meet the Family for me. But yeah, they don't put out bad shit, dude. They're so good. So I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to hear whatever it is. All the stuff I saw in the little clips they posted sounded incredible. Very similar to the last 2 records, so definite 10 for me.
I'm right there with you, man. This now that I know this is coming out, this is my number 1 most anticipated album of the year. I mean, we've gotten like 2 Frenzel records last like what 17, 18 years. So
something like that.
When these come out, I mean, Smoko at the Pet Food Factory, I had in my top 10 favorite albums of all time list, and then High Vis High Tea is just 20 songs, and every single one of them is good. I mean, maybe there's a couple that aren't great, but
no, they're all good.
This is gonna be my number 1 most anticipated album of 2023. I mean, there's a couple more on the list I'm looking forward to, but they've had albums that are not. What did High Vis was 2017, so it's been 6 years. So I'm thirsty for some Frenzel Rhomb. So give me a 10 out of 10.
We got to do a Frenzel Rhomb tier list at some point, maybe after the album comes out.
As soon as that comes out, I'm 100% game for that one. 100%.
Very underrated band.
So let's move on. I'm going to group these 2 together. We've got Strung Out, who I believe it's going to be later this year, I believe. And then we've got Jason Cruz and The Howl, his album Wolves, which just came out with a new single yesterday. So Strung Out and Jason Cruz, anticipation level. What are your thoughts?
The Strung Out one, they just started recording, so no clue what that's going to sound like. If anyone watched our Strung Out ranking video, you know how most of us felt about the last record. They got a different drummer on this one. I don't know how much that's going to change stuff, but I'm pretty excited for it. I think there's a potential for a redemption arc here. Not as excited as the last 2, so I'll put this one at let's say like a 6.5. The Jason Cruz album, I have heard that album I got to listen to. The single that came out that everyone can hear is really good. I listened to his first album with this side project and I wasn't super crazy about it, but this one I think is a lot better. It's not as good as Strung Out, but it's still really enjoyable. Not really punk rock, but kind of an indie rock Americana kind of thing. But it's pretty fun for what it is, so I'll put that one at a 7. I don't see it in my top 10 of the year, but I could see it as an honorable mention.
All right. I'm sitting here mulling this over. Like we decided to rank these 1 through 10 about 15 minutes before we started this video, so neither one of us have rankings. So,
do it live.
So for Strung Out, I mean, I feel like now, like post 2004, so like your odds of a good Strung Out album are just as common as your odds for a bad Strung Out album. So I'm gonna go 7 on Strung Out because it seems to come in waves, and the last one was terrible. So let's hope this is gonna be the upward trajectory. So we'll go 7, and then the Jason Cruz record. I'm like you. I listened to the first one. I didn't really care for it. When things deviate from punk, I tend to listen to them once or twice. But I have a style of music that I'm like obsessed with. You know, the channel, the Instagram. That's kind of my thing. So I'm gonna put that one out of 4. I'll probably listen to it once or twice. I mean, if it blows me away, I'll give it a better ranking. But for now, I'm just being honest. Going 4.
If I had to compare it to something, it would be like what Arthur is to MxPx, basically. It sounds a lot like that Arthur. I don't know if you ever listened to Arthur.
Yeah.
It sounds like an Arthur kind of feel, you know? It's kind of easy listening, like you just want to chill. Pretty cool for that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe for summer, pop it on. I mean, who knows? We don't get great weather here, but I'm sure, I know you do down there. You could have a Mai Tai by the beach, listen to Jason Cruz and the Howl. So
I haven't been to the beach in like 15 years, my man. I'll have a Mai Tai on the couch. Or a Miller High Life on the couch.
All right, let's move on. This one is confirmed. Actually, when I posted the teaser for this video, the band actually reached back out to me to make sure I knew. So this is Diesel Boy. This is their first album, and God, was Rode Hard and Put Away Wet the last one? I don't know if that is.
Yeah, it was.
That's early 2000s. So we got Diesel Boy, Corpse Paint Blues, we believe is the title. It might be the single. Dylan, first album in like 20 years. Where's your anticipation for this one?
I'm not a massive Diesel Boy fan. I like cock rock, like most people. The other 2 records I could take or leave. They're not really bad, but they're not like my go-to, like Honest Don's releases. This is gonna be on Spam or SBAM or Spam or however the fuck they pronounce it. They're German.
I'm pretty sure it's not Spam.
That's how I say it. SBAM. I know it's the dude's name who owns it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on that label though, and they put out really good stuff. I can't recall them putting out anything bad recently, so it should be good. Hopefully it's more like fast, like cock rock than Rode Hard was. I'll say let's put it at a 7. I think this has some potential.
See, I have high hopes for this one. I like a lot of the humor from these guys from the early records. I think all the album names are pretty good. And then there's that one song, number 65. I don't know if it's still funny, but I used to play that for all my friends. Like the lyrics are hilarious to that one. So
Punk Rock 101 is it's better than the Bowling for Soup song.
Oh yeah,
of the same name.
So we don't get a lot of funny punk bands anymore. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like the comedy punk is kind of disappeared. So
dangerous.
It is dangerous with today's culture. We won't get too far into that, but I'm gonna put my anticipation for Diesel Boy at an 8, just because it's been so long. There's bands on the list that I like a lot, but we've got an album 2 or 3, 4 years ago. This is 20 years, so high hopes for this one. So I'm gonna go 8, and then Dylan. We were just talking now. You said this one is done, so I'm gonna say this is a confirmed album, but we don't have a date. We don't have a name. This is MxPx and their new album, first since the 2018 self-titled. Where are you going to put this one in terms of anticipation?
Man, their last album was really good. 10. It's my
10.
third 10, man. It's another 10. Man, even the cover songs they've been doing have been pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't like that they're not really like crediting the bands they're covering at all. Like they're not like noting that, hey, this is a Planet Smasher song or whatever. But yeah, they're so good. The last record was so good, and they seem to have honed in on that sound they want to go for. It's almost like a they're on like a Frenzel Rhomb-ish kind of arc here, where they hone in on this sound and then they just hard focus on it. So yeah, this is another 10 for me. I think it has the potential to actually be even better than the last album.
See, like as we get to know each other better, MxPx is one of those bands where I'm surprised you like them so much, but I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go 9 on MxPx. I feel like they also have a tendency to kind of stray from time to time. I know they may be honed in, but it wouldn't shock me if this album strayed a little bit. Like, plans within plans for me was kind of a dud, and they've shown that they can make a mediocre album. So I'm gonna go 9.
Let's rock part 2.
Like, I love MxPx. Just, I'll put that out there. One of my top 10 favorite bands of all time. But I don't know. I really like the last one, but I'm going 9 on MxPx.
They're actually, I just received information from my sources. This is actually a re-recording of Before Everything and After. The best MxPx album.
See, I don't mind that album. I mentioned that in the tier list video that it was the most polarizing one, but like,
I hate it.
Dude, if you dig a little bit and if you make yourself listen to it, you'll be singing along to a few songs. I promise you. The Capital is a good one.
One song with that shitty little that little guitar part. Is it Wrecking Hotel? No, it's not Wrecking Hotel Rooms. It's some other fucking thing about like California and some other bullshit.
The Sunset Strip, yeah.
It's like we and we love this town.
The sun was going up. We were waiting.
Yeah.
I can hear it, but I don't remember what it's called. But yeah,
fuck that song. That ruins the album.
So yeah, I'm going. Dylan's a 10, despite his distaste for Before Everything and After. I'm a 9. Let's move on to another early 2000s, late 90s mainstay punk band, pop punk band, Blink-182. Speaking of a band that strays from the path, what is your anticipation level for this with Tom DeLonge back in the band? What do you think?
I don't know, dude. I mean, the single is terrible.
It's so bad.
I will say I wasn't huge on Neighborhoods when it came out. I've gone back recently, and that album has had somewhat of a renaissance with me. Maybe it's because comparing it to the Matt Skiba stuff, it's just so much more like substantial, and it's not just songs about I want to see some naked dudes, like whatever the fuck was going on there. I don't know. I'll put this one another neutral rating. Let's go with the 5 here. It's just there's so much unknown about it. Like, they got the pre-orders up for the record. By the way, $30 for a single LP record is a fucking joke. And they have like this placeholder cover art, so they haven't even gotten to revealing the cover art for this thing. But they launched pre-orders for it because they want to build on that hype. Well, I'll go with the 5. I don't think it'll be worse than the last 2 albums they did, but it's Blink kind of fucking blows ass now. So,
I mean, honestly, you are looking forward to it more than I am. What is it? Edging is the lead single for this. It's pretty damning. Like,
well, let's say hopefully it was the most like radio.
But is it even radio friendly? Like, I can get into some catchy stuff. Like, I thought California had some catchy songs. Like, but Edging, it's one of the worst Blink songs I've ever heard. So
let me ask you this: was this album produced by Feldman? Do you know, or is it being produced by John Feldman?
I would guess yes, but unconfirmed.
Okay.
Unconfirmed.
Because I don't like the shit he's been like having as a name attached to recently. It all sounds the same.
Yeah, I used to like the way like he made stuff sound in like the early 2000s, late 90s, but yeah, it's always been glossy, but now it's just ridiculous. But I'm gonna go 2 out of 10 on Blink. I might not even listen to this one all the way through. My anticipation is very, very low. I think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be real bad. So
Tom DeLonge's gonna get his alien buddies to come abduct your ass for that.
I mean, do you like Angels and Airwaves? Like I don't think I like a single Angels and Airwaves song. So
The Adventure's pretty good.
yeah, it's that's
their most popular song. That is in like a movie or something.
yeah, it's low. I got very low hopes for it. So 2 out of 10. Uh Dylan, I've got a feeling that we're gonna have your fourth 10 out of 10 with this one because
I'm handing them out like Oprah.
this is less than Jake, right? We is this one. This one is
very speculative.
okay. Yeah, they've been posting like cryptic stuff here and there. I'm not sure this is going to be an LP, but we're going to put it on here anyway because this is in my top 2 favorite bands. I think, is this your favorite band? Or
yeah, man. Well, look at this shit. Look, this is my favorite band. Fuck yeah, dude.
All right. So, what do you have to say about this week? What do you know about this? Because you definitely know more than me.
Nah, I don't know shit about it. They've just been saying that, like, every week they post something like, we can't wait to see you guys to see what big plans we have in store for 2023. And then they just post a picture of Chris tracking guitar at Roger's studio, and they don't say what it is for. So I don't remember how the last few album cycles went with them, how they tease stuff or like whatever. But if it is an album, which I feel like it should be, because Roger's like taking a break. He like posted on his rehasher page. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm not gonna be off social media for like until March or something." And they're not playing their first show of the year till March, so I feel like that's about the length of time they would take to record most of an album. Hello Rockview turns 25 years old this year too, and that's pretty sure that's gonna get reissued. I doubt they're like overdubbing any guitar parts or anything for that, so I don't think it's for that. Hopefully it's an album, man. The last Silver Linings was really good. They're my favorite band. It's a 10.
Yeah, I'm a 10 out of 10 also. I thought Silver Linings was my favorite album. Was that 20? That was 2020, I think. Whatever year that was my number 1 album of the year, either 2019 or 2020. So I'm going 10 out of 10. Less Than Jake still has it, and I think it's an LP too. They don't release a lot of EPs. There's like maybe, I mean, in the 90s they had 1,000,000 7-inches, but over the last couple decades there hasn't been a lot of EPs. So
they went through a little phase for a bit where they were doing them.
Like what is it?
The greetings and salutations.
That's
greetings
true.
From.
But I'm going 10 out of 10. If this comes out, honestly, I don't want to say 10 out of 10 if it's a Hello Rockview reissue, but I'd still be like an 8 out of 10 for a Hello Rockview, like re-recorded.
Yeah. I think they'll do both. I think they're just going to reissue that and then do a new album.
Yeah.
That's most likely.
10 out of 10. 10 for me. Up next, you told me this one yesterday. I had no clue this was coming out. This is Mustard Plug. It's been a while for Mustard Plug too, right? Is Black and White the last one? It was like 07?
Can't Contain It. 2009.
Right.
Wait, no, 2014, sorry.
Is that the one with like Copacetic on it, or am I mixing them up?
I don't remember. There's some song about a house party or something. It has like a broken bass guitar on the cover. It was on No Idea.
I'm not sure. I get their albums mixed up for some reason, but it's
been 9 years though.
It's been 9 years. Okay, so the anticipation's got to be pretty high. We've never talked about Mustard Plug outside of the ska draft. So where are you putting them?
Yeah, Mustard Plug's not my favorite ska band. They're not bad by any means, but they're not a band I ever got super into outside of obviously Evildoers Beware. Mm-hmm. So I haven't listened to too much of their recent releases at great length. But yeah, old school ska band still kicking in 2023. I'm all for it. Let's go with the 7 on this one. They're playing in Florida in a few months, so I'm probably gonna go see them for the first time. They come here a lot, but I've never seen them for some reason.
I'm gonna go 7 as well. If the one you're talking about is The one I'm thinking has like copacetic and it's another really good song. I think I really enjoyed that record, so I'm gonna go 7 out of 10 too. Like you said, not my favorite ska band, but I mean, in 2023, if a ska band comes out with something, I'm gonna listen to it and I'm gonna look forward to it. So I'll go 7. And this one I plucked on here for me, man. I have no idea how you feel about this band, but I Am the Avalanche is one of my favorite modern. I'll just call them like I'll say pop punk, but they're not even really pop punk anymore. So what? How do you feel about I Am the Avalanche? Are you looking forward to this album at all?
You surprised me more than the Sum 41 album with this one. I thought these guys broke up like 13 years ago. Yeah, I had no clue this was coming out. From what I recall, their debut album, it was like had a black and white cover.
Yeah,
it was most.
That's the worst one by far.
Yeah,
it's decent, but I mean they don't sound remotely like that anymore.
Well, that's the only thing I've listened to from them, and I thought it was pretty unremarkable. So I guess I'll have to. Was that their debut album?
Yeah.
Or was that okay?
That came out like shortly after the Movie Life broke up, so it was still like a band in transition. But they talk about a band that's honed in their sound. Like I would recommend you listen to Wolverines if you haven't. I think you would like it, man. It's just got the right amount of aggression on it.
Have they been on like hiatus for a while, or am I just imagining things? Because I haven't heard anything relating. I remember there was a lot of hype for them in like the early 2010s. I think they played the Warped Tour one year or something, and I remember a lot of people talking about I Am the Avalanche for a brief period. I'll go with a 5 on this one, just because I don't know what to expect. Honestly, I feel like 5 is a neutral score. It's not a bad score. It's just I don't know what I'm getting into score. So we'll go with the 5. But have they been on hiatus or something?
Well, the Movie Life came back out of the blue. They put out a record in 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. So, I mean, Vinny is the singer for both bands, obviously. So I don't think they were ever running concurrent. But as far as I know, that was kind of like a one-off record for the Movie Life. And Avalanche, I don't know, man. Avalanche has never been a consistent band with releases, but I've been seeing on both Vinny's and I'm the Avalanche's Instagram pages that they are working on something. I have to assume it's an album. But Dylan, I want you to do this, and if somebody's watching and they haven't done it, Avalanche United and Wolverines, go listen to those albums. They're both awesome. I don't remember which one I picked for my 10 favorite records, but I had one of those on there, so that's how much I like it. So this is going to be a 9 out of 10 anticipation for me from I Am the Avalanche. Love those guys. I've been a Movie Life fan for so long. They played obviously the New York area a lot when I was growing up. So 9 out of 10 for Avalanche. So Dylan, we're at the point here we hit the albums we want to talk about, but there's still like a lot. I just want to do some quick hitters here. Lots of these modern pop punk bands. I know you're not crazy about them. Knuckle Puck, Neck Deep, and Story So Far. Any of those stand out for you? Those are some of the biggest bands in pop punk right now. I'm just curious your thoughts on them.
The first thing that comes to mind, and I'm not talking about these bands in specific, but the first thing that comes to mind with these pizza pop punk bands, you know, is that weird shit that was supposedly going on the Warped Tour. I won't go any further than that, but there was some nefarious activities going on the Warped Tour towards the end there, and this genre of band was very involved in it. So yeah, it's kind of off-putting in that sense. I don't listen to any of these bands. I think they're corny. Fuck them.
Oh my! All right, well, I thought Knuckle Puck's recent EP, the one that had the Blink-182 cover, I thought that was pretty good. So I'd put the Knuckle Puck at a 6. Neck Deep is a band I've never been huge on. I like the album that has Can't Kick Up the Roots is decent. I'll go 5 on that. And then the Story So Far, After Soil and Dirt, just hasn't been my style. So I'm going to go 4 on the Story So Far. I'll be honest, I'm going to listen to all 3 of those just because they're big bands in pop punk. I want to hear, what's going on. But Dylan, we'll get to what's on the website in a second, but is there any anything you know of that we didn't talk about that you are looking forward to?
Versus the World, they have like a comeback album coming out. They got Sean, the drummer from Good Riddance, is in the band now. I've listened to that, and it sounds fucking good. It's like Strung Out meets early 2000s pop punk. Then we got D-Cracks. They recorded 28 songs for something. They didn't say it's a new album, but 28 D-Crack songs. Sign me up. Wrong Life. It's Frasier from the Murder Burgers. I was a big time Murder Burgers fan. He's got a new album coming out from that band. It's pretty good. I haven't heard it. I heard his first one. It was really good. I liked it. That's pretty much it. Oh, Fake News, a band I recently discovered. They just released a new single. They're from Australia. They kind of sound like newer Belvedere. I guess they have an EP coming out. So if it's as good as that single was, then I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll throw them in there too.
Yeah, I think they had an album in 2021. I used it as an album of the day. I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021, but yeah, I'm excited for that one too. A few I'm going to drop in. These I'm going to pull from punkrockradar.com if you want to check them out. If I'm missing anything, please let me know, guys. We got 30 Foot Fall. Ooh, I think the Doppler Effect in like the early 2000s was the last record. People at Punk Rock is doing something for them. We believe it's an album. Dylan, I think you confirmed, right?
They're reissuing a few of their albums, a live album and the Doppler Effect, and then they're also recording a new album according to their press release.
All right, so I'm into that. We've got Chaser, who was on my best of 2021 albums. I think that's confirmed. I don't think we have a title or date yet. Let's see what else we got here. Death Cemetery. I've been looking forward to this one. Had them on Blind Band Reviews. That's where I found out about these guys. It's coming out on Thousand Islands Records. Let's see. We talked about most of these other ones. Avalanche, Golden Boy. Yeah, that's it. I mean, this Zoonoids record, I don't know what's up with that. I know I'm not as dialed in on these guys, but I thought that Effigy was coming out last year. I haven't seen or heard anything about it. That'd be another one, like kind of horror themed Ramones core style. So I'm into that too. That's it though. I mean, Dylan, anything else you could think of before we close this one out?
Yeah, I forgot the band that popped up right before we started recording. The Phase Problem.
Oh yeah.
I think this was recorded a long time ago. So this band has Flav. I'm gonna pronounce the last name right now. Giorgini, Flav Giorgini from Squirt Gun, and I think the singer from Squirt Gun sings on at least one song. But they announced this album in 2015, and then it never came out. But they just announced today that it's coming out on Mom's Basement Records at the end of March. So that should be really cool if you guys are into Lookout Records pop punk. That should be a good release to check out.
Definitely. Yeah, I saw that too. I forgot we were going to mention that. And
there's another band too. It's they're just called Not.
Oh
N-O-T.
yeah, The Anxiety was the song that just came out, right? I was just listening to that like a couple minutes ago.
Listen to the others, the first single he did too, if you haven't. It's like he's basically like trying to recreate like All, and mainly All, but also kind of the poppier Descendant stuff. He's trying to like pay tribute to that because All hasn't released an album in a long time. So that's another cool thing. It's very hard to find the band on. I think they only have an Instagram. I think their Instagram is The Band Not. But if you go on Spotify, look up Not Stop the World will be the easiest way to find them. They're pretty cool. I think it sounds a lot like Mass Nerder era All.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was intentionally trying to be All, but that's exactly what I thought when I heard it. But so it makes sense. So I'm just going to shamelessly plug some stuff here. If you like the pop punk stuff, I've got a couple albums for pre-order: Tosca Fall, Astronauts, Joy Blasters, Cheap Pops, Looking Martians, and then a couple secret things coming out this year. So if you're interested, head over to punkrockradar.com. It's a lot of Ramones core style stuff putting out here, and at least 2 or 3 more are going to come out in 2023. So go check it out. And then Dylan and I are going to be doing Ramones tier list in a couple weeks, and then Fearless Records tier list after that. So make sure you're subscribed, like the video, follow us on Instagram, all that stuff. And yeah, that's it. That's going to do it for this one. If we missed anything, put it down in the comments. Let us know your most anticipated album of 2023. And we'll see you next time.